we are back. This is so random. What happened is, I thought the living room will be empty, but it turns out Barbara and Donna are cooking there. So, but my room is so small and smelly because Mihai is disgusting. And so Mihai is the guy. Yeah, he's my boyfriend.
I know Mihai. Yeah.
You know him?
I met him in Barcelona.
Oh yes, we met also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
a year ago.
Yeah, I only remember the girl. I didn't remember you.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you together?
It's complicated. Yeah.
Okay.
But ancient history.
But you are American. You were in Poland.
Yes.
And you were living in Poland, and we met in Barcelona. What a story! Story! Yeah.
And now I live in Barcelona.
You live in Barcelona. How do you feel about Barcelona?
I love it. Barcelona. No offense, Berlin. I think is the best scene.
I heard it's the new Berlin. Yeah.
It's very supportive, friendly. Everyone's nice. The level of comedy is like pretty high, and a lot of shows. And there's a good number of comedians, probably like 50. And the audiences are amazing. Sometimes too good.
But can you in Barcelona can you is it reachable to do comedy full time?
Only if you tour.
Okay.
Yeah. So which I think is true of most cities. I've been touring for about 2 years. Scraping by, I've done like 100-something shows in that time, and the like business model is basically just 2 to 3 shows a week if you can do it, and you find the cities that you can consistently sell. And then I was kind of just going back to some cities in Poland and elsewhere in Europe once every month or two, and treating it more like a stable thing. Yeah. Because I was just doing like different city, and like never repeating. And you'll find that some cities are incredibly hard to sell, and some cities are easier. It does change.
And how do you arrange tours? What's your concept of your tour?
So it used to be called Why Poland, just about why I moved to Poland from New York, and usually brings in local people that have any connection to Poland, as well as Americans and some other expats.
Wait a moment, I think I lose my bottle. Did I lose my bottle? Could be me. I put it in the bag, but
bottle's probably safe.
Yeah. Do you remember there's bottle on the floor?
In the park, no.
Okay.
We took everything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I have ADHD.
Fuck
too. You have. Yeah. Then we can't trust anyone.
Yeah, you can't trust me. I did a little scan.
But you are not reliable. By the way, this is the door of Adam. I forgot his last name, but he's a magician, and he also has ADHD. And I was going to thinking about invite him, so we do a threesome of ADHD. 3A podcast.
Constantly switching topics.
Yeah.
But yeah, the current show is called Expat, because it's about a breakup I had, and also about moving, and a lot of sex stuff, dark stuff. My current problem is that the material I like to do is like half songs. So you saw one of them. Yeah. Too Tired to Fuck. And the other stuff is maybe more standard stand-up, and then I do really love doing dark comedy, but sometimes I go so dark that people who aren't there for that I turn off 30% of the audience, and then but then another 30% loves it. So I'm trying to figure out, like, do I go all in on the dark stuff? Do I stop doing it? Do I just keep doing what I'm doing? Yeah. I'm just not really sure where to take things.
Yeah, I think like if you do dark comedy, it needs to. I learned it Fringe, because in Berlin it doesn't matter, they can take anything they ask. The first Fringe I had, I really suffered at the beginning because I have audience come here really don't enjoy in horror But then as a comedian, they were really, audience really enjoy it. And then one day, I saw a review from an audience. They post on Twitter. They say, "Go to see this woman. She's great. If you are into black and dark comedy." Then I realized, oh, I'm doing that. I didn't know I'm doing dark comedy back then. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I started to put the dark comedy in the description to indicate it. And once I did that, I had a way better audience.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out all the branding stuff. And then I feel like the first year of stand-up is like the most fun because you don't know you don't know, and you're just excited to be like doing it. You're figuring things out, and then as you get better and like your own taste improves, it becomes harder to live up to your own standards. And so I'm just figuring out the identity stuff, figuring out where I want to go with it broadly. I probably should lean into the music stuff more fully because that usually gets the best, most consistent.
But what do you enjoy more?
I think I really like doing the dark stuff. But I wonder if it's a phase. You know,
everything can be a phase.
Everything, it's okay if it's a phase.
Until you are dead, you don't know if something is a phase, right?
Like at your show, I did your anxiety versus depression show, and I have this joke about mass stabbings. That mass stabbings are rude because you can't stab somebody while they're running away.
Yeah, that's true.
Which means that the victims perhaps are just like, hey, what's going on? You know? Like,
I think it's a little bit similar, like another one comedian's joke. I don't remember, but basically they say if in a mass stabbing, the first victim. The first 3 victims are real victims. The rest are just idiots.
Well, that's a reason for me to stop doing the joke. Do you know who does that joke?
I don't remember. Probably some TV comedian.
Yeah. Anyway, I go somewhere with it, and then but after the show, a guy came up to me, Scottish guy, and he was like, "I loved the whole set except the mass stabbing bit because you should probably know there was like a mass stabbing in the UK and recently, and a lot of people died, and it's very tragic." And I was like, thank you for telling me. I got to work that in to the bit.
I saw. Did that head just? Oh, I was like, there's a head under the corner. Like I really didn't see it, and I was like, oh, did it just appear? The magic.
Well, there's a magician next door, so you never know.
So I think I also need some water. Let me go get some water. You can talk with the camera while I'm away.
Ooh, that's cool. Hello, camera. Hey, I'm Jordan Thomas Gray. You can follow me on Instagram at Jordan Thomas Gray. I'm a comedian. I do music, and Moni will be back shortly. I don't know if it's Moni or Moni. Never really heard her name said out loud, but it's spelled Moni. Yes, what's interesting about me? This is a mental health podcast, so, I have ADHD, but who doesn't? And even what even is that? It's basically just a reason to do meth. I have had depression, not currently depressed, I think. Pretty anxious lately. Just moved to a new country, and that's pretty anxiety-inducing. And trying to do stand-up full-time with no other income is extremely stressful. So, yeah, I'd say anxiety is my main issue. Welcome back.
Okay, so ADHD. So when do you know you have ADHD?
I figured it out in college. It's decided only I matter.
Yeah. You are misogynistic. I paid for you. Who brought money to the house? I can kill you, I can throw you, I can abort you.
ADHD, that was the topic.
Yeah, ADHD. So when did you get it? When did you know?
In college, I tried to get diagnosed for it. I was pretty sure it was it was mostly anxiety, I think, at that time. But like for sure, I grew up with all the symptoms. You know, leaving the house with one shoe and like shit like that.
But the question is like,
when was I diagnosed?
When you tried to get diagnosed, you already know you probably have it. The question is, when do you start to have a word to describe what you have?
Oh, like when was I like, okay, that's it? I think I was Googling stuff like, why can't I read? You know, I would get like a couple sentences in.
Am I stupid?
I think as I'm getting older, I'm just getting dumber. I mean, now I feel like I'm getting smarter. But I was like having trouble reading anything that wasn't interesting, and my mind would just drift, and I just couldn't do it. But my grades were really good. Like I was able to do the amount of work, which wasn't much, to like excel. And when I went to get diagnosed, they were like, "Yeah, you've got all the symptoms and everything's marked, but two things: one, you have straight A's, so it's not affecting your life, and two, we called your mom, and your mom said that we shouldn't diagnose you because she doesn't want you on medication." And I was like, "Geez, yeah." It's like, "Thanks, Mom," and she's on medication. So we had kind of a fight about that. She was doing what she thought was best for me at the time. So then I finally got formally diagnosed in graduate school at Massachusetts General Hospital. So they have like an ADHD, I don't know what you call it, research center, yeah, where they're pretty cutting edge on it and did like multiple days of tests.
How can you say ADHD center when we can't focus?
I think critically they don't hire anyone with ADHD, just so that work gets done. And then got diagnosed, and it helped a lot. Like just having, I don't do the medication that much anymore. I think it's fine to take stimulants every day, but I really don't think it's healthy. You know, I'm very pro medication, but and I don't feel great if I'm doing it every day. So basically, I use it as a safety net. If there's critical stuff that I just absolutely need to do, I'll take it and knock that day out.
I don't like the medication. Yeah, for me, weed works better.
Oh, I do a lot of weed, yeah.
You want to smoke weed?
I have edibles I'm going to take later.
Really?
Yeah.
Where did you get it?
Poland, and I brought them here illegally.
Legally?
Sure.
Yeah.
Legally.
Yeah, the medical. Medical.
I do have a medical marijuana prescription.
Me too. And then earlier we were all smoking weed on camera. Every one of us have like severe mental illness, you know, like my boyfriend is epilepsy, and then we have someone with some like a PTSD, CPTSD, and some stuff.
I got my medical marijuana prescription because COVID killed my father. It's fine. Your dad's also dead, right? Yeah.
No.
Dad club.
but he's from Wuhan. He wasn't even died from COVID.
He was in the lab working on the virus.
He died at home watching TV.
But and I got extremely ill. So after COVID.
From what?
After COVID, it wasn't necessarily the COVID that did it, but it triggered an immune response. So I basically got, it's called reactive arthritis. So I got intense arthritis and inflammation in my whole body and brain, and I couldn't walk for like a couple months. Wow. And
where were you?
In Poland, which is a terrible place to be sick. It's already very sad. And I still have lingering symptoms from that. So that's basically, I just uploaded that medical stuff, but I probably just could have said that I had insomnia, and then they would have given it to me.
Give you what?
Medical marijuana.
Okay, really? That's easy in Poland?
Maybe. I haven't tried.
But in Germany, it was really, really hard to get it. But it's like on 1st of April they legalized weed. Then it become easy. But it's not because of the medical thing. It's like it's strict, but they can't make it strict anymore if it's like legal everywhere.
Yeah, it's legal in Spain, so you just pay 10 euros to join a club, and you make donations.
Yeah, here Berlin Germany will be the same. Yeah, I think like do you focus? Do you work on like a weed?
So I smoke weed or do edibles, and then I watch good comedy. Like I'll pull up John Mulaney or Rory Scovel or Nate Bargatze or Norm Macdonald or a female comedian, which I'm a Moni Zhang.
Liar!
Cat Cullen, you know, Whitney Cummings, good comedy, and then I'll like absorb the vibe and like the structure of things, and then that'll get my mind going, and I'll start writing. Yeah, but any logistical work like booking, promoting, no.
I'm like those kind of work. I have to.
I would make so many mistakes though.
But I can get things done.
That's true.
It's mistakes like are better than not getting it done.
It's true. Getting it done with mistakes is better. Recently, I put the wrong address in some event, and I wasn't even high. So if I was high,
maybe when you're high, you can finally get it right.
But yeah, weed is definitely my joke writing tool. I would say, because if I spend all day booking shows and like promoting things and just all like.
Have you thought about outsourcing those admin work?
I hired somebody in the Philippines.
Me too!
But then onboarded her, gave her own email address, made like workflow docs, put a lot of work into like hiring her. And then before she even started, she was like, oh, I have another project that's paying me a lot, so sorry. But then she tried to connect me to her virtual assistant. So my virtual assistant's virtual assistant. And I was like, who's really doing this work? You know, is it ChatGPT at the bottom? But and I was like, okay, you know, put me in touch with her. And then I get a text. It was such a ridiculous name. Oh yeah, okay. I get a text from someone named France Mirabueno, which is not like that's a real name in the Philippines, but nowhere else. France Mirabueno. And sorry, France Mirabueno, if you're watching this. And,
my assistant Basha will process those stuff. Basha is great. That's she's
does she have some free time?
No, Basha, no.
But,
Basha is great. You know, I'm so lucky. I went to Upwork. I post the ad. I interviewed with a woman, some American woman living in Egypt or something. I don't know. And it was just completely off vibe. And then I interviewed with Basha. It was great. And I just hired her to do a little bit trial. But it just went so smooth. And now she's controlling my entire schedule at Edfringe.
Yeah, it didn't work out with France Mirabueno. but she did put me in touch with her virtual assistant. Texas muchas gracias. And we're working it out. No, I'm still doing it all myself, but I'm gonna try again to get somebody because it's just so much. It
takes a bit of luck.
It's quite simple. A lot of it, not simple. Some of it's complicated. It's like straightforward, but it's very annoying to actually do.
Basha,
you deserve a
take
raise.
his project, copy the data, and start to book for me.
Whatever you need to do. We're all in this together, separately.
So living with ADHD, what's the biggest challenge for you?
I mean, before stand-up, it was just working a job. Just like being in an office all day, every day was, I was always like the office clown, distracting people from doing work. Because I can only do, I hope no potential future employers, if I ever quit comedy, are watching this, but I can do maybe 10 to 20 hours of work in a week. That work will be excellent. That work would be like the work of 5 people, but like it's got to be like one day of like 10 hours.
I could probably, when I was a worker, I was probably working like real work, maybe like 5 hours a week. And see, and also like realize like I don't know if it's for people with ADHD or it's just me. I can't work on anything I don't find it interesting.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's definitely an ADHD thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why like when I start new jobs, it goes really well. And like because I'm learning stuff.
Yeah, me too. 6 months.
Yeah, once I'm out of the learning phase,
it
just Jesus Christ, can I stop doing this, please? I think I've only been fired once. It was because I did not know this about myself quite yet. It was one of like my first jobs. It was a video editing job, and I was just so miserable editing video in an office 8 hours a day.
What did you study? What did you study?
Philosophy.
Why?
Why? That's a very philosophical question.
Did you study it in the US?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Pay that much money to study philosophy, then come to Europe where education is for free?
I have a
What's wrong with you?
I have a master's degree, so it was a lot of money. Well,
That's so stupid.
Yes, I know.
You spend your student year in a country their study is so expensive. And you study something philosophy, and then you come to Europe where there's no job is paying and education is for free.
And I doing stand up. I think that the philosophy helps you think.
Did you think about the tuition fee, that part of philosophy?
Especially 15 years ago, which is I guess when I was in college, like it was just very programmatic, very automatic to just get a degree. You know, like now people are thinking differently about that, but especially at the time, it's like, no, you get a degree in whatever, and then you maybe get a master's degree in whatever, and then you spend the rest of your life paying off those student loans. And that was,
did you know in Europe it's for lots of countries for free? Yeah,
but for philosophy programs, I wanted to teach, and the U.S. programs, at least by the U.S., were considered far superior. So
even better than Germany.
Yeah, I'd say so. Analytic philosophy.
I thought the most like if you want to really go deep on philosophy, you have to learn German. I heard. I'm not sure.
Well, there are different like disciplines of philosophy. So there's continental, which is the European, like Kierkegaard, Kant, German stuff, and then there's analytic, which is the American school. And
what do you mean analytic?
More focused on logic and very clear, precise argumentation, whereas a lot of continental is, and this is just a biased way to view this, a little more like poetry, a little more about looking into the soul, whereas
it's like a more artistic and more logic.
Whereas analytic philosophy is more like math. So, and logic is a big. I taught logic in grad school. I hated it, but it's a big part of it.
But how about Eastern philosophy? Have you learned anything?
Like yoga.
Yoga.
That's even further outside. I think.
But have you learned anything about it?
No. So I have a very narrow view of philosophy, just because I learned it in the U.S. And like there's.
But so many years, like a graduate school, like you didn't even cover.
You can cover one very small subject for many years, So it's I was doing mostly cognitive science and normative ethics, and I was doing stuff about whether neuroscience can tell us anything about morality. And spoiler alert, it can't. It just can't. It's kind of unrelated how the brain works.
So then you went a little bit into the neuroscience track, like a little bit like a crossover.
So one of my mentors was Daniel Dennett, who is a pretty big philosopher in the U.S. He just died recently.
What's his name?
Daniel Dennett.
I don't know. I did know Daniel Kahneman.
No, he's an old white guy.
Who is not?
Dead white guy now. R.I.P. Yeah, philosophy was the only subject that I tried. I tried economics, a few other things, and philosophy was the only courses where I felt like it was actually interesting, and the questions I was asking were valid. I minored in political science, which is just fake science. It's just political science. I was helping out.
Now shit on political science.
I was helping out like professors do research, and their research was just bad. It was like I could see as a student like this is nonsense, whereas the philosophy was just a lot more, it's maybe somehow even less useful, but it was at least like structurally made sense to me and felt grounded and felt like they weren't like
Can you make an example? Can you make an example?
So with the political science stuff, they were doing this survey where they would trick you by giving you a false result, like based on what you entered into this, you get this result. I don't remember what exactly, but like the screen that they showed you to tell you what your result was, somebody had like in Microsoft Paint, like done something with an arrow, clearly not an automated process. It was just so obviously, it's a very poorly designed and constructed setting, so to me that means
you look like this is bullshit.
This is bullshit. Like there was, whatever you're getting from this, whatever results, don't matter because the methods are shit. It could have just been that one professor. But it left a bad taste. When you're 18, you think that whatever you experience is the totality of what can be experienced.
Yeah, that's true. Like when you were young, you think you know everything. Then grow older, you realize, you really knew nothing.
Yeah, it's dumb as rocks.
But if you talk with younger people, they wouldn't believe it. Yeah, they really believe they know everything. But my next question is, I want to share something.
Okay.
Before comedy, I really thought I'm an ordinary. I tried to be normal, and I thought I'm just an ordinary person, have no interest, not interesting, and I just want to be normal. And my dream job was to become an accountant.
Wow.
And
I cannot imagine. You are not normal.
But,
you were very interesting and lively and like, wow.
Because before comedy, I wasn't lively. I was just weird. People all say I'm weird, and I try to be not weird, but I don't know how to be that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Which is why I think part of why I love stand-up is because everything with ADHD that was making other parts of my life difficult, interrupting people, saying whatever I think, losing my train of thought, most of that is actually super helpful in stand-up. Yeah. Making weird connections.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all useful in stand-up, where it was like causing real problems in like actual jobs I had. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, for me, my brain is just wired differently than normal people, and that's why I can give the most unexpected twist to a joke. But in interpersonal relationship, it's very difficult. And I remember I like to tell stories, and I didn't know back then. Now I realize, I was just doing material, and I just polishing my material. But people get angry at me. They tell, never trust her. She always exaggerating things. But I was just trying to tell a better story, and it's just very hurtful. So I think comedy is it's really. Is when I start to realize all those things that I don't like about, people don't like about me, actually it's a superpower in comedy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I found that once I started doing stand-up, most of us have this need for attention.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like coming out when it shouldn't just in conversations and
yeah.
in groups. And now I'm much more comfortable in groups because with stage time, I have all the attention I could want. Like I don't need more attention in regular conversations and things, so I can sort of tamp down the stuff that might be too much for people because I'm getting the attention needs met.
Yeah, my question, do you have a hyper focus period?
Yeah. So yeah. Sometimes it can be hard to flip into. If I take medication, I'm there. You know. Yeah. Even without medication, there are days where I can sit down and just fucking bash through stuff, but then like the next day, for instance, I just can't do shit.
Yeah.
It's just gone.
Do you enjoy the hyper focus part?
I do. I enjoy accomplishing tasks. It's so weird because like I will dread the tasks. I will be so afraid of doing I will avoid the tasks, and then like once I get rolling, I'm like, okay, yeah, like what can we knock off this giant list like one by one?
For me, like what I hate is like not hate, like I'm thinking about doing less stand up. I had a kind of like a meltdown, burnout one recently. What is it's a combination of a few things. One is that I was deeply hurt by an argument with a person who I really trust as friend and also as comedy colleague. And in the heat of moment,
Who was it?
No, in the heat of moment, they told me, you are rude, you hurt people. People are talking shit behind you, and it just got into my head. I had such severe like social anxiety. I don't feel comfortable in the shows waiting because I feel everyone hates me. I feel so anxious. And I think that's one part. I just don't want to go out in the evening to do that. I feel more and more like drained thinking about going to shows. Every day I'm thinking about canceling shows. And another reason I think is really about the hyper focus. Because I have a huge like self care routine, and if I don't do most of them, I collapse easily. But when I wake up at night after my routine, and everything is already like 3 p.m. or something, and then if I do a show, I have to leave at like 7 or even earlier already. I just feel I can never get anything done because as soon as I get rolling, I need to leave, and I just feel like this resistance. And now I'm just thinking if I can make the content work, and then I can maybe just do shows from Friday, like do really good quality of shows, either my own solo or like a really like good shows. Friday to Sunday I do shows, and to leave from Monday to Thursday where I can relax and I can hyper focus. I think this lifestyle, like I tried to beat myself down many times because I was like, oh, look at all those comedians in Berlin, like they go like 7 days a night, like 3 shows a night, and I just. But I can't. I just feel this resistance. Like, oh, if you don't do sports, who are you? Are you even a comedian? People are talking shit about you. You don't even have enough stage time. You think you are experienced, but all those new people, they are just catching up, and they don't respect you because they think you didn't put the work in. All those negative voice just come out. So, I forgot what I wanted to say. So what I mean is like I feel like the fact that I don't want to do sports really hurt me, and it induced lots of existential and identity crisis. I'm still in a phase trying to like accept it, accept that it's really not for me to go out 7 days a night. I need days that at home I can work like 10, 12, 20 hours a day. Like if I'm in a row, I can get things done. I can't just work like 2-3 hours a day. It's not for me.
I hear one. I fully I hear a lot of comedians right now being kind of down on comedy. I've been kind of down on comedy a little bit lately, just because with the anxious things, not wanting to go to spots. So I was in Warsaw, and I wasn't wanting to do. I was doing them because there weren't even that many. You could maybe do 5 shows a week if you're doing all the shows. But for me, it was the audiences in Warsaw. I felt like they didn't want the kind of comedy I wanted to do, and I know that the kind of comedy that I want to do does work because I've toured it and it works, and I've been to other cities and it was one of those spots. So I think it was just kind of wasn't the place for me. And when I moved to Barcelona, I had a different problem where I wasn't sure if I fit in. I had the same kind of thoughts of like, oh, these people probably don't like me, you know, like I'm an outsider in some way, or like I'm being tolerated at best. And I've gotten over those feelings. But it made it super difficult. You have to show up to a show early and be in like the green room or the bar area and just being like,
I just feel myself like I find myself apologizing all the time. I feel not whatever I do, people wouldn't like me.
I think you're likable.
Oh.
So maybe it could just be that. Well, how long have you been in Berlin?
Many years.
Yeah.
I think I'm also learning. This is what's been recurring like a topic in this show. I'm learning that first of all, nobody can be loved by everyone.
Oh yeah.
And so it's totally normal. Statistically, it will happen. I can't let when this happens to get upset because this is like objective, like a rule. There's no chance to avoid this to have people not like you. And the second I'm trying to learn is now I realize in the past, you know, there are some relationships maybe it's bumpy. I try to make it work. But now I realize that it's totally it's in the past I thought if two people get along, it's just misunderstanding or like you can. But now I realize there's vibes. There's some people don't have the right
some
vibe.
People don't fit.
Yeah. We just don't have the good vibe. And in the past I would try to make it work. And now I realize if it's good vibe, I don't have to work with you again. It's not being mean to you, but it won't work.
Yeah. With friendships too, like I've lost a number of friendships since I've worked on my anxiety, and I've stopped accommodating people excessively and just trying to be whoever it is that I think they want me to be. I was doing a lot of that. When I stopped doing that, here's just an easy example. If anyone needs me to respond to texts in a timely manner and it upsets them if I don't, it will not last. It's like I've tried to work on that behavior. It makes me very unhappy to do it, and it's just not going to work out.
My friends, those people who I actually enjoy are people who are cheer. For example, this guy, Oz, he came to the show, but he's stupid. He didn't talk with me. And afterwards, I was so afraid that maybe there's communication issues. Maybe we send the wrong emails. And with his time, he get angry. But he was super cheer. The next day, he showed up. We had a good laugh about it. And they immediately know, okay, this is the kind of people I want to get closer to. And those people, because I misbook some show, and they come, they're like, and I even had people, they read the shows wrong. They come on the wrong time. And they say, oh, it sucks, I cancel another show for this show. I'm just like, it's not my mistake.
I'd say a lot of those people won't make it. If you're hard to work, unless you're insanely funny, if you're hard to work with, then
But what I say is like I now learned I can only be friends with people who can tolerate me, that I don't reply to your text for a month.
Yeah.
And then when we talk, it's totally fine. I just forgot.
That embrace your eccentricities, that just accept you.
You
need to be with people that accept you, because if you're going to change, that's got to come from within, and it's got to be something that you actually feel like warrants changing. And if people are expecting you to change things that you don't think you should change, it's just not. It's not going to go well.
Another question, we need to leave very soon. We have 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Last question I want to ask you. It's really close. It's like 7 minutes by walk.
Really? Is it 18?
Oh, it's another. Okay. So we have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Last question for you. what in your life like you think it's like those inconvenience was caused by ADHD? If you think so, like you don't need to answer this question first. It is just when you think something like your ADHD is dragging you behind. Do you also question, oh, am I just a bitch? Am I just like complaining about ADHD?
For sure. There's a lot of ways in which I'm extremely lucky to be in the position I'm currently in. But I'd say my anxiety is the main problem. It's very linked to ADHD. So I put off a lot and I get discouraged very easily. So even like part of the reason I'm not doing a solo this year at Edfringe is because like I was looking into venues, or a friend was looking into venues because we think of maybe doing a double, and like they wanted like 2,000 pounds for 10 days, and they take 80%.
Fuck!
And I was just like,
what the fuck?
And I just took, it was like 18-year-old me. I was like, okay, that one example is the entirety of it, and I'm just giving up already. But I put things off a lot. Things I just booking shows, promoting, things like that. I feel way more dragged down by my anxiety, I think, because it prevents me from, like, I know I need to start doing different types of content, because like my social media was going really well for a while, and then I just started posting less, and so I need to figure out some new strategies. But it's like scary to me to even sit down and like start thinking about that, because I'm already anticipating failure.
Okay, yeah.
And so I think that's the main thing. I think with ADHD, just having so few potential functional hours of like doing the
but I feel
stuff.
like when I can function, I function super like I like everything. Like I feel like it's like for me, I feel like how to describe it. I feel I'm more like a polar bear. Like there's a very long like a
hibernation.
Yeah, hibernation. But when the that period ends, I can get like really good ideas, things done in very short period. And then I look back, I realize, oh, I think I'm lazy. I think I didn't get things done. But I'm way faster, way more productive if you look on the big picture.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're focusing on the days that you spent, like that you wasted. Or the hours. I don't know if you ever waste a day, but
yeah, and also I feel it's not just hours, because for example, as a comedian, I could be spending lots of time doing admin, producing shows for years and years, but that's not good work. But spending time sitting down, taking a rest, and think about the strategy, what's ahead of me, or the market, the competitor, the technology, what's the next step, where really can benefit me with my own skills. That's real work.
Yeah.
And I feel I might not be appealing always like doing the admin, like this kind of like visible work. But I feel my brain like is really good at doing more like strategy, like bigger picture stuff. And that fits with this 80-20 principle.
Yeah, so sometimes the hyper-focusing backfires, and if I'm doing like a 10-hour workday, I might spend an hour just like changing little things in a poster that don't matter. And then I'm done, and I'm like, that was a terrible use of time. You know?
But then now I have a mantra. I always tell myself, good enough is good enough.
Good enough is good enough.
Yeah, like whatever getting it done is enough. Like for me, I don't, because I also like